A diplomatic scandal just erupted in Ottawa, and this time it's personal. According to reports, U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra lost his temper, cursed, and verbally attacked Ontario's trade rep, David Patterson, all over Canada's latest anti-tariff campaign that called out Trump's trade war. But this wasn't just a heated exchange. It was an open act of disrespect. Hoekstra's outburst wasn't aimed at one official. It was an insult to all of Canada. And now it's clear. The Trump administration's hostility toward Canada isn't random. It's deliberate. It's systemic. It starts at the very top. But what's changed this time is how Prime Minister Mark Carney is responding. He's not backing down. He's turning this moment into momentum. And the world is paying close attention.
Meantime, the U.S. ambassador to Canada reportedly lashed out in a big way at Ontario's trade representative at an event in Ottawa Monday. Sources tell CTV News there was an unpleasant exchange between Pete Hoekstra and Ontario's Washington trade rep, David Patterson. The sources say the U.S. ambassador hurled insults and swore over Ontario's anti-tariff ad. Patterson was said to be calm during the tirade. Last week, President Trump abruptly ended trade talks with Canada over the commercial and then imposed that 10% tariff on Canada.
Let's call this what it is, a complete breakdown of diplomacy. Under Donald Trump, the U.S. hasn't just drifted from its allies, it's replaced cooperation with intimidation. Ambassador Hoekstra didn't just lose his temper. He did exactly what Trump expects. Not diplomacy, but domination. His job isn't to represent America's interests abroad, it's to project Trump's aggression. This isn't just about tariffs anymore. It's about power, ego, and a presidency that treats foreign policy like a personal vendetta. And now, that aggressive playbook is backfiring. Trump didn't count on one thing, that this kind of behavior would unite America's closest allies against him.
With me now is CTV's political commentator, Scott Reed. Scott, good morning to you. So, Canada-U.S. relations appear to be at a real low point. What do you make of these reports of Pete Hoekstra using expletives at David Patterson at a public event?
No, it's to be expected. It's actually in keeping with Ambassador Hoekstra's pattern since he took over the office as chief diplomat to Canada. I mean, he's been overtly insulting time and time again, and that shouldn't surprise any of us either, because Donald Trump doesn't appoint diplomats in the traditional sense of saying, I want an envoy that can smooth relations, that can work with folks, that can build up a bunch of relationships and backchannel. He doesn't want any of that. He wants someone who will yell and stamp their feet in the same way that he does. So it's important for Ambassador Hoekstra to be seen as swearing and cursing and losing his temper, because he wants the President of the United States, his boss, to see that that's how he's conducting himself, because that's what it takes to get approval from the boss in this upside-down, backwards world in which we live, now led by Donald Trump. So I'm disappointed. I think it's, it's despairing in many ways, but it shouldn't surprise any of us. This is how the Trump White House administration, this is how Trump world works.
When a U.S. ambassador curses at a Canadian official, the question isn't just about diplomacy, it's about respect. And Prime Minister Mark Carney has made Canada's response unmistakably clear, not through outrage, but through strategy. Instead of issuing angry statements, Carney is transforming this moment into opportunity, expanding Canada's influence, building partnerships beyond Washington, and proving that leadership doesn't require theatrics to be effective. In recent weeks, Carney has met with top leaders in Malaysia, Singapore, Brussels, and Berlin. The goal? To position Canada as the stable, trustworthy alternative for nations disillusioned by Trump's erratic diplomacy. While Pete Hoekstra, the U.S. ambassador, alienates allies with profanity-laced outbursts, Carney is replacing those broken bridges with new ones.
solid, forward-looking, and built on mutual respect. Every meeting Carney holds now carries a subtle but powerful message. Canada is open for real partnerships, even if the U.S. is closed off by ego. What Hoekstra might not understand is that his tantrum in Ottawa isn't helping Trump's agenda, it's hurting it. In Washington, even seasoned lawmakers are starting to take notice. Every time one of Trump's appointees attacks an ally, it chips away at America's global credibility and boosts Canada's stature on the world stage. Trade experts are already warning, if this hostility continues, U.S. exporters could be left isolated, especially in key sectors like agriculture, energy, and tech, as global players start pivoting to friendlier markets like Canada and Europe. Trump's attempt to bully Canada into submission? It's backfiring. If anything, it's fast-tracking Canada's evolution into a truly independent economic and diplomatic power. Let's be clear. Canada isn't ignoring Trump, it's outsmarting him. Hoekstra's profanity wasn't intimidating, it was revealing. It showed that Trump's envoys are out of tools, out of leverage, and out of patience with a Canada that refuses to be bullied. Carney and his ministers aren't waiting on Washington anymore. They're building independent trade networks, securing access to new markets, and earning respect across Asia and Europe. And every time Trump officials like Hoekstra lash out, they only reinforce one thing: Canada's calm, principled diplomacy is winning. This incident, an American ambassador verbally attacking a Canadian representative, might be remembered as a turning point. Not because it was shocking, but because it confirmed a deeper shift already underway. Canada is no longer the junior partner in North America. It's emerging as a regional force, respected for its maturity, consistency, and global vision. For the first time in decades, world leaders are asking not how to repair relations with Washington, but how to strengthen ties with Ottawa. And that's a shift Trump and Hoekstra never saw coming. Hoekstra's frustration wasn't just undiplomatic, it was a sign that Carney's strategy is working. The old playbook, where the U.S. leads and others follow, is being rewritten. Canada isn't just imagining independence anymore, it's living it. Each new deal signed by Carney, each handshake outside Washington's orbit, chips away at the illusion of U.S. dominance. And that's what truly stings in Trump's circle. Yes, Hoekstra lost his temper, but in doing so, he confirmed exactly what Carney has been proving quietly for months. The more America shouts, the more the world listens to Canada. In this new era of global diplomacy, it's no longer Trump dictating the narrative, it's Carney shaping the future. And the louder the frustration from Washington grows, the more undeniable it becomes. Canada's rise is no longer a question. It's a reality the world and the White House must now face. You're watching Canada Newsline, independent, factual, and unapologetically Canadian. For more updates that shape our future, subscribe now and be part of the conversation.